to pick up yards, to score touchdowns when he get out of the pocket. That is a dangerous aspect of football, bro. Not just a first down pick-upper, a touchdown pick-upper. Like most run, like Purdy, he might can run 4 or 5 yards to get that first down real quick. But we talking about a quarterback that can get that first down and explode, hit his head on the goalpost. A problem for the defense. Why would you get that up for what? Something they could do what? You see what I'm saying? There's no need to move on to do anything else. That's the upper echelon of the right now. You can't tell me Justin Fields is not the 1-2 best running quarterback in the league. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to draft somebody to do better than that. You're not going to tell me he's not improving as a passer in the pocket. Can't nobody deny that. So therefore, you got to give him time to keep growing. Then you have a dynamic duo of a threat person that nobody has in this league.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think Caleb Williams, when you watch him play, he gives Mahomes vibes, like the way he can like improvise and make a play out of no play type situation. I don't think he's necessarily, he's not Justin Fields athletic. He's not Lamar Jackson athletic, or even maybe Josh Allen athletic per se. But, you see him, he makes kind of those like Russell Wilson type plays where he might spin around and find somebody. He improvises a lot, but he can also, stay in the pocket and make the throws. And it's just one of those situations, man. Because, I know you are very much so Justin Fields against the world, right? You very much so like, this is my guy. Like, this is the guy I trust. This is the guy I trust to get it done. And it's interesting because when you look at all the mock drafts, everybody's saying that the Bears are going to go with Caleb Williams. If they do go with Caleb Williams, how you going to feel? That's my real question. Like,
okay, hold on. Okay, so let me explain this. Then. Let me explain this. First of all, like I told you, I've been looking for a quarterback for years that does what Justin Fields does. Period. All the haters cannot deny he one of the 1 and 2 best running quarterbacks in the league today. You can't deny that. I asked for that. I got that as a Bears fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had that with Cutler. I had that with McMahon. Whether y'all know it or not, those two people can get out the pocket and maneuver. Again, they can get the first down, but they're not touchdown makers. Justin Fields can get the first down and hit his head on the goalpost. 2 different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that. He was drafted in a situation where the coach was fired 6 months later. Not only the first year, I'm going to break it down. The first year, he was not supposed to start. He was thrown in the 4th game because the starting quarterback got hurt. He wasn't even the backup. He was the 3rd string, meaning he was getting no snaps. Period. They skipped the 2nd screen and threw him in. He got sacked 9 times his first game. Period. His first game ever. 9 times, bruh. We all know quarterbacks do not come back from that shit. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Just that alone. He went that whole season balled out. He came back the next season. The GM blew up the whole fucking team in front of him. Took away the defense. Defense was the worst in the league. Took away Roshan, sent him to Baltimore. Sent main man to Chargers. He getting sacks over there. Get rid of the whole defense. Blow everything up. Matter of fact, give you the best receiver you got is Equanimeous St. Brown. Work with that, Justin Fields, and show him what you got. He ran for 1,200 fucking yards because nobody can block. He got the hell out of there. You can't blame him for that. You bring him back the 3rd year. Who fault was the first 2 years? Can you blame him for the first 2 years at all? He come in the 3rd season. You have a situation, first of all, where you just hire a first-time offensive coordinator, first-time head coach. Everybody, the GM is first time. Everybody the first year. He comes in this year. Stars are rocky. The whole 0-4 season. Started off 0-4, my man. He gets hurt in the fifth game. He comes back and go 6-2 in his last games after getting hurt. And that's with a leaky offensive line and only one receiver. That's him. I watched him do this thing in 3 years, despite the circumstances, despite the coaches don't know what the fuck they doing, despite the line not even blocking, despite all of that, still prosper and get better. You can't deny none of that. Even the haters can't deny that. Now, you come into this year, what are you looking at? A person that just went through you fucking him, and he still got better. So me, as a Bears fan, I've been looking for this type of football player regardless. The mental aspect and the motherfucker, he can run with the best of them. I asked for this. And he could throw longer than anybody in the league. So you talking about he could be one of the best quarterbacks ever with those aspects in his game. If you get the coaching in it, get some weapons around him, we can make something happen. After taking him through what he just went through.
Like I said, it's such an interesting situation because
I get it. You got the first round, the first pick overall.
You got the first overall pick,
but
right?
starting
Again,
this rebuild will be crazy.
Yeah, and it's just weird how the GM Ryan Poles is just talking about things, right? Like he's saying like it just depends on what opportunities pop up. If we go down that road, I just want to do right by Justin as well. No one wants to live in the gray. It's weird. Like I get it. Like, this is a poker game, right? You trying to not put all your cards out there because you still want to be able to make a trade. Either way, whether it be you trade Justin Fields because he's a high commodity, or you trade the number 1 overall pick because Caleb Williams is a high commodity to a lot of people that need quarterbacks. But like I said, I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Now, like, I think you've seen flashes. I think you've seen potential. I think you've seen some really good things from Justin Fields. And I get the talent that Caleb Williams has shown to have in college. Now, he also has shown some inconsistencies from time to time, like any other quarterback. So it's not like he's had, Caleb Williams has had a lot of hype, but I don't think he's had nearly the runs of like a Joe Burrow, a Cam Newton, and those guys like that who had like almost like perfect seasons, even in not only in record wise, but in their play. I feel like for me, here's my thing. You sitting with 2 top 10 picks. You got Washington, who needs a quarterback, New England, who needs a quarterback. Arizona is kind of weird because who really knows, right? But like even when you look at the other teams that could move up and would move up to the number 1 pick because of their uncertainties, the Giants are one of them. The Falcons are definitely one of them. And I think even like when you think about the Jets could be because who knows how long Aaron Rodgers is going to play, right? I think Minnesota has QB uncertainty. Denver has QB uncertainty. So it's one of those situations where it's like I don't know why you give up a guy who you've seen what he can do unless you just truly don't believe in him. But I don't know why you give up a guy who you've seen truly what he can do, especially now that you got him a number 1 wide receiver, for a very hot uncertainty when literally you could trade that number 1 overall pick again and get you more weapons to help out Justin Fields, right? Because I can't remember. Y'all drafted a running back last year, right?
Yeah, 4th, 5th round.
Okay. Because my thing is, why wouldn't you trade out of the number one overall pick to 2, 3? I would probably say 2 or 3, just because that's tough. I would say you want to stay above where Arizona is, because you want Marvin Harrison Jr. And if he's projected to go to Arizona, then you want, I think you want Marvin Harrison Jr. to pair that dynamic talent with DJ Moore's dynamic talent. And then I think honestly, I would go all in on the offense and get a darn running back at number 9. I might be crazy. I don't know. I might be crazy. I'm no draft master over here. Okay. I'm just thinking, just for me, that's what I would do. Now, albeit I don't know the running backs in this draft like I knew them last year.
Going all in offense is a good idea, first of all, because you have a defense that's in the top 10 now. If you add talent, it's going to move up.
Yeah.
Right now, you should focus solely on. That's my problem. Is like you cannot set this offensive line, get DJ Moore, get another receiver, then get another quarterback in here with a cushy thing going on now. After you took this person through a whole bunch of tragedy to get there, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why now? Why dump shit with him now when you just get into the promised land? Like, you building a team on the backs of a quarterback. If me personally, I have a problem with Poles right now, right? Like I told you from the beginning, whatever he do, I agree with it. But if that was the case, you should have let Justin Fields go when you first came here. You don't take him through 2 years of you supposed to be developing him, and then at the end of the 2 years say, oh, you know what? He ain't it. I'm going to pick this shiny toy over here. What? You supposed to been developing him, motherfucker. You had him longer than anybody else. Even though you ain't draft him, somebody else drafted him. That was a year. You had him 2 years. You had him longer than anybody else. So at some point, Ryan Poles had to take responsibility for developing. If he telling us he got to get rid of him, why you didn't develop him? And if that's the case, what makes you think we're supposed to trust you in doing it again? Now you see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why he is not getting rid of this guy. He had him for 2 years. It's his responsibility now.
Because I think y'all got Justin Fields at pick like 9-ish. I think it was back when y'all got him, and it felt like a steal. Like, because he was a guy who, like, we saw in college, like, what he could do. We saw in college he could be dynamic, and it's so tough, man. Because like I've always been under the impression that organizations give up on quarterbacks way too quickly, man. They give up on quarterbacks so quick. They give up on quarterbacks before they can even get through their first contract. They give up on quarterbacks before they can get through their second year. They give up on quarterbacks before they can get through their rookie year. They give up on quarterbacks because they got a lack of playoff success or something. Like, it's just it's crazy to me, and I don't think it's the time. I don't think it's the time to I mean, the thing about quarterbacks is quarterbacks are going to be groomed time and time again. Caleb Williams, a talent like that is going to come up in 2 or 3 years, and that's not disrespectful to him. That's more so just saying quarterbacks are being developed more so than any other position besides maybe like wide receiver or something. Quarterbacks are being developed more than anything because everybody knows that's the most important position in football outside of course, offensive line. I mean, even still going back to the point of having those 2 top 10 picks, you know, I still say trade back, grab Marvin Harrison Jr. if he's there. And then not only that, grab Marvin Harrison Jr. and then grab you some more O-linemen because that seems to be the other issue, right? I would love to see Justin Fields play behind a competent, decent offensive line, right? He's still got, you know, he's still one of the top rushers in the league with not even a great offensive line yet. They still building on that. So that's another direction they could go to because they could honestly trade up and they could wait to get the running back, you know, wait to the second round and get the running back. Because I'm trying to see if anybody's mocked to go in the first round running back wise. Now, I mean, tackle wise, you got the dude going to the Jets, but you could honestly Bucky Brooks got y'all taking Latu out of the edge rusher out of UCLA.
Yeah, I'm looking at defensive end. It's gonna be him, my man Alabama.
Yeah, but my thing is, I mean, I get it. You want elite rushers, right? But my thing is, you haven't paid Justin Fields yet. You should have some money. Go get Brian Burns. I don't now, for lack of a better term, I don't know if Carolina want to get burned by Chicago again. But go get Brian Burns. Do not take edge rusher in the first round, and take an offensive lineman. Now you got your receiver, you got your elite edge rusher, and you got an offensive lineman.
Offensive lineman in the first round?
Oh, absolutely. If we talking about the tackle out of Oregon State, that's literally the Jets are thinking about taking 10th. Yeah, I mean, I don't think offensive line to a lot of people is not like the sexy pick. Like it's not like, but
That's true.
I'd be darned if the Ravens need to take some offensive linemen in the first round. If it's there.
Plenty of guards. We don't need a tackle though.
Oh, you don't need a tackle? Well, I mean, get a guard.
Definitely need plenty of guards. My vision is Marvin Harrison Jr. and Turner out of Alabama. That's our first two picks. And it's not gonna be number one. We're gonna trade that to Washington. We're gonna trade again. We're gonna end up at 8, and we're gonna get Turner. And first of all, if we don't move down from Washington, I know for a fact we're gonna give our pick to Washington. Washington is gonna get Keller Williams. If we don't move no further than that, we're gonna have Marvin Harris Jr. Now, if somebody give us something for that second pick, we're gonna move down again. We're not going past our pick at 9, though. We'll move down any further closer to 9. If we get a pick to 8, then we'll pick Dumajay, or definitely Dumajay should still be there, or Dobbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put them in there with DJ Moore. You got your defense. One thing about a defensive end is we don't have another defensive end. That's my key point of that. We don't have no more. So we have to have somebody young coming in there on the opposite side of Sweat, right? So therefore, we'll be set on defense, period. And like you said, load up on the offense. Load.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I think too, if you can make some moves, yeah, if you can trade with Washington, you putting yourself in a good position. Just because Washington gonna want Caleb Williams. Like I don't get why you wouldn't go ahead and bolster the roster you got now as opposed to kind of redoing it. Because if you draft Caleb Williams, then you still, I mean, where are you gonna get your receiver from? Maybe at 9, you might get your receiver at 9, but you're probably not gonna get the guy you want at 9. Marvin Harrison is not gonna be there at 9.
Oh no.
So
I'm about to say, once we trade to Washington, we're not going no further unless somebody give us something sweeter to move down. If you give us something sweet to move down, we're still not going past 9 because we want one of these top receivers. Period.
I feel like on the Ravens front in terms of the draft, they're mocked to get off Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, the tackle, to hopefully help out with the Ronnie Stanley situation. I don't know. Like, I don't know what their plan is with Ronnie Stanley because he can't stay healthy. It's one of those situations where it's like, when do you move on from the guy, right? The Bears got a similar situation with Justin Fields. Like, do you move on from him now? Do you wait? And give him some more opportunity. But with Ronnie Stanley, you've seen the injury bug has been the biggest thing, and it's just, I think they gotta have some reinforcements there, and their pick is so far back. Like, being at pick 30 is so far back to try to get a receiver. You're not middle of the pack, you're not top 10 or nothing like that. So you're not gonna get, unless you trade, you're not gonna get a receiver. A receiver for the Ravens gonna be in free agency.
Where the Ravens at in cap and salary cap?
I can't remember right off, but like they got a lot of free agents too, though. Especially defense on the defensive end, because you got Justin.
Get to this. I'm about to ask you.
What is that?
Was it worth it? I want you to look at me now in my eyes.
Okay.
Was it worth it to pay that money to that linebacker from the Chicago Bears?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because middle linebacker is shored up right now. right? Because we worried about how we're gonna pay Patrick Queen. So either way, we was gonna have to pay a linebacker top money.
All right, so let me ask you this: since you had Roquan Smith on your team, you're not on my team no more. Tell me, is he a playmaker, or he make tackles? As far as when I say playmaker, man, sacks, interceptions, strip fumbles, or he a linebacker that's gonna be there. He gonna make all the tackles, sideline to sideline.
I mean, I think he'll make all the tackles. You probably.
Yeah,
I'm not. He's not a. So I mean, I don't think Roquan is necessarily a guy who's gonna force a bunch of fumbles, but he gonna set everybody else to force them because you ain't running at Roquan Smith. You gonna run at everybody else because don't nobody want to see Roquan Smith. Like that's the thing about it. Like no, Roquan Smith is not. He's not a turnover machine. I don't think, but that's because people run away from Roquan Smith because he's smart. Right? He's smart, he's fast, he's everywhere. And literally he
tackles. He gonna get tackles, man.
The thing about Roquan Smith is Roquan Smith has made this defense 10 times better. And they were already good before. They were top 5 defense before with Wink. And even under Mike McDonald early on in the season before they traded for him. I mean, he made Patrick Queen better. He makes Justin Madubuike better. Like I'm just listing out the free agents that we're gonna have to make an attempt to pay, right? Like Clowney had one of his best seasons playing alongside Roquan. You know, Geno had one of his best seasons with Roquan in the lineup, and I mean he affects everybody.
Okay,
and I feel like he's smart. He gets everybody, you know, in their places, and of course Odell on the offensive side.
Don't get me wrong. That I agree. He one of the best linebackers the Bears ever had. But is he upper echelon type of linebacker?
You think? I mean. You think so? You telling me that Edmonds proved to be a good replacement for him?
Oh hell yeah!
I think Edmonds is good. Don't get me wrong. Edmonds is good. Edmonds is a really good linebacker. Like Edmonds deserves. Edmonds deserves. Like I feel like when y'all got rid of Roquan and picked up Edmonds, y'all did a pretty good darn. It was a pretty good little swap. But Edmonds ain't Roquan Smith though.
Oh, you said Edmonds?
Yeah.
I was thinking Edwards.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, Edmonds is not Roquan Smith, but he make interceptions, strip fumbles. Those different. And just tackling. You see what I'm saying? Now, Edwards, what we got from Philadelphia, he tackling machine. It's like it's like he asked for the top money from us, and he wasn't making the plays. He was just a tackling machine. Put it like that.
Well, and that goes back to my point, you know, and this. Let's be honest, it's the same thing, and I'll mention these free agents too while I'm at it, but it's the same thing that the Ravens need to do this offseason too. If you don't want to pay one of the top linebackers in the game, we talking about top 2, probably one of the top 2 middle linebackers in the game, right? If you don't want to pay him on the defensive end, and you found a good, for lack of a better term, like budget replacement, right, in Edmonds and Edwards too. Like you found those kind of replacements that don't blow your cap up, then why don't you turn around and build on the offense? And I think that's what the Bears need to do. And it's the same thing the Ravens need to do, right? They got a lot of defensive free agents. I think I would love to see. So the ones I'm looking at the list right now, Justin Madubuike, who I think they'll franchise tag. Patrick Queen, I hate to see him go, but I just don't think they got enough money to pay 2 solid middle linebackers. And I think that's why they brought Trenton Simpson in initially, and he didn't get a lot of playing time. I would love to see Patrick Queen stay, but I just don't know if I see it. Clowney, I'd love to see him back on some sort of a pretty good veteran deal. Zeitler, honestly, I'd like to see him back as a veteran presence too. Geno Stone is gone. And Odell is probably gone.
Before you move on, you gotta let everybody know that the salary cap has been boosted up the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that changes dynamics, yes or no? So, like we used thinking before, it's a little chump change to the side. You can get some things done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at y'all over the salary, almost over the salary cap. So y'all ain't got a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, because I mean, especially when that's why they always talk about how important it is to have a lot of success, specifically win the Super Bowl when you have before you pay your quarterback, right? Because that's going to take a lot of your money away. And of course that's always worth it, but that changes the makeup of the team. And of course they're going to use the tag on somebody, and it probably be Meta BK more than likely.
Ronnie Stanley making $28 million a year.
I think they're gonna have to make some. They're gonna have to make some changes. Ronnie Stanley needs to be renegotiated. Honestly, Marlo needs to be renegotiated.
Wait, what? Humphreys, $24 million. Who's Humphreys? Is that good?
The corner, yeah.
They deserve that? $22 million. I never heard of him.
No, I mean Marlon Humphrey is probably Marlon Humphrey probably one of the top corners in the league.
Oh,
until the playoffs happen. Now there might be a little sense in the playoffs, but Marlon Humphrey is the top corner in the league. He shuts everybody down, except for maybe Jamar Chase.
Not overpaying him. You got to tell me you overpaying him. We're not even paying.
No. I think there can be some restructuring going on. Don't get me like Ronnie Stanley is definitely one that needs to be restructured. I think Marlon does too, because
Mark Andrews, $17 million.
Mark Andrews is a tough one too, because you still talking about a top what 3-4 tight end in the league. Like you gonna garner some money. Yes, absolutely. Who's better than Mark Andrews outside of who? George Kittle and Travis Kelce? That's it?
Top 10.
That's all you got? Who else you got?
Historic, just him being him. Or you talking about stats?
No, I'm talking about right now. Who's better than Mark Andrews outside of Travis Kelce and George Kittle? That's it.
I don't think he played this year, did he?
He did get hurt, but he came back. He got hurt though. He got some sort of ankle injury. I can't remember what a broken ankle or something.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, it's all it's always going to look bad after an injury season. But that's why Ronnie Stanley's contract looks so bad, because Ronnie Stanley ain't played a full season since he got that contract. He literally got hurt. Broke his ankle like a couple days after he signed that darn contract. And before then, he was one of the top tackles in the league. So that's the tough part about what the Ravens got to do. The Ravens have to figure out when to move on from people, and I think Ronnie Stanley's one of them. Right? The thing about the Ravens is they're very loyal to their players, and the issue with that is, as much as it builds organizational morale, when it comes down to having to spend some money and maybe trying to grab a T. Higgins, maybe trying to bring Hollywood Brown back, like you got other players who ain't even gonna play nearly as much as those other guys that you still got to pay, and they got void money on Odell Beckham that is just going to waste. So,
and y'all got a lot of things going on. Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. The thing about the Ravens, and people got mad at me last year for saying it, but it's still true. The thing about the Ravens is they don't really like to spend money, right? They will spend money on certain players. You just named them, but those are top players in the league. Lamar Jackson, one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Mark Andrews, one of the top tight ends in the league, right? Like, so Marlon, one of the top corners in the league, and at least on his side or whatever, right? So they'll pay Ronnie Stanley, one of the top tackles in the league, when he got paid. So they'll pay certain guys, but then that leaves them filling in the gaps with some of those bargain bin type guys who Kyle Van Noy. Who would have thought Kyle Van Noy would have came in and just wrecked shop last year? Jadeveon Clowney was another one who came in and just had one of his best seasons, right? If not his best season as a pro. So it's like that, I think for what EDC gets in criticism for not spending that money, he's very strategic. Like, I think this is going to be one of those times he's going to have to be very strategic. When it comes to tagging Justin Meta-BK, that's going to have to happen, right? You're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with Patrick Queen. Is Trenton Simpson ready, or is he not? Or can you replace that second middle linebacker? Is anybody you put beside Roquan Smith going to be good or no? That's going to have to be another question that's going to have to be said. Can you keep Kevin Zeitler on a low-end deal? Can you keep guys on low-end deals because they want to win a Super Bowl, and this team is very, very close to that?
That was my next question. I was thinking, all right, so far, the team that you had, do you feel that that team right there can come back and make a strong push for the Super Bowl, or what you need?
I think, and I've said this before. I said this last year before Lamar Jackson was even paid. And I said, as long as Lamar Jackson's on the team, you're gonna have a chance. You're gonna contend because that's how important he is. There's a reason he's a 2-time MVP. Now, the team, talent-wise, is gonna be fine. They're gonna be there. Coaching-wise, that's where we got to talk a little bit. That's where we got to have a discussion because you can't keep losing in the same ways, time and time again, in the same games, and we don't factor in coaching at all. So, coaching-wise, I don't necessarily trust it, but they're gonna be there regardless, right? They can beat every team. We've seen it time and time again. They can literally beat every team. They can blow out every team.
You don't trust Harbaugh?
I don't. No.
You would rather want another coach right now. Because you don't have a whole lot of time to be doing this when you have a team ready to strike.
You talking so yeah, I mean I would because
if you take Belichick right now, just swap them two and let Belichick run there.
Yeah, I'll take Belichick right now. I would take Belichick right now. I would
right now, you feel like Harbaugh is the problem as far as you're concerned.
Yes. Absolutely. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think that for a long time, but I've watched this team struggle in the playoffs since 2018, right? I've seen them struggle in the playoffs. We've seen the talent, but the issue with Harbaugh is he don't understand what's going on. And that's crazy to say about a guy who's been in the league for 15, 16 years. But explain to me, listen to me clear now, okay? How is it that you run the ball 8 times, but you as a head coach don't know why you ran the ball only 8 times? You as a head coach need to be in your offensive coordinator's face saying, hey, why the heck aren't we running the ball? We're the top running team in the league. Why are we not using it at the time when we need it the most? Against the team, let's just talk about this last game against Kansas City. Against the team who has one of the league's worst rushing defenses. But you don't know. You don't know. You'll have to look back at the tape. How you don't know? You've lost in the same ways time and time again. For me, my thing, let me put it to you like this, Rabbit. I would take Eric Bieniemy right now, who's sitting in the college ranks, because they won't give him a chance at a head coach over John Harbaugh right now. I'll take Eric Bieniemy, who ain't never stepped foot in the head coach's office and sat at the king's chair, more than I would John Harbaugh right now. That's how frustrated I am with John Harbaugh and how inept he gets in these big games, especially these playoff games.
Surprising, because you want to know why? The thing about the league and fans is the coaching, right? And they always think, okay, I'd rather have that coach. You're right. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get deep down into their details, like you in the fan base, you start realizing, wait a minute, he's not even like that for real. You basically what your coach is. You know what I'm saying? I think special coaches win games. It always go on the quarterback or the run, whoever fumbled, whoever the fuck. But I don't even think that's it. I think it's the special coaches. Like if you go back all the Super Bowl winners, it's special coaches, bro. It's just not regular coaches that can make fancy plays and all that. It's a person that in the moment, like Andy Reid, bro. In the moments, he know his players. He know motherfucker his tight end might be mad at certain things. He can still won't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like he know what's best. He know what to do in this moment. Like, even though it's big for everybody else playing and everybody else coaching, everything is too big for them. This coach makes the right decisions, even though that is happening. You know what I'm saying?
My other thing is too, I feel like Harbaugh between the lines has an issue with holding guys accountable. I'll be honest. Eric Bieniemy, Andy Reid, you know, during those times when they was both on Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes was not going to not go out there and play his game, right? Because he had coaches that was going to get in his face and say, "What you doing? Like, be you." And the same thing with Lamar Jackson. He talks about it time and time again. The naysayers, right? He talks about the critics. He talks about guys who say he can't pass, who say he's a running back and this, that, and the third. And sometimes you feel like you got to prove, besides being a 2-time MVP, right? Literally having all the hardware that every other great quarterback in history has, but also at the same time, the great quarterbacks that's playing right now, you got all of that. Nobody else can say that. So you have nothing else left to prove to anybody. But my issue with Harbaugh is, why don't you, when you see that Lamar Jackson isn't taking off, because maybe he is trying to prove somebody wrong. Maybe he is trying to trust his receivers to get open and they're not. Maybe he is trying to make a big play. You as a coach need to say, hey, be you. It don't matter. They can call you a running back all you want to. A running back with a Lombardi is still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So that needs, like, that's my issue with Harbaugh is I feel like Harbaugh was very, because of where he came from, because he was under the Andy Reid tree or whatever. I feel like at first he was very strict. He's still set in his ways, but he was very set in his ways where he was a little aggressive. That needs to come back. And I don't know if he has that anymore. Right. I don't know if he has that anymore. And I would take Tomlin right now over John Harbaugh.
I'm saying, because, for example, San Francisco 49ers, right? Their coach, he could scheme shit up. He could do all that good shit. But I'm telling you, when it comes down to the moments where you have to win a championship, it ain't just everybody point fingers at other players. But, man, them coaches, bruh, that head coach is real key to this.
Yep.
And those key moments, if he flustered and making dumb decisions, y'all gonna fucking lose. It's real simple. That's why I say you have to get the coach right, bro. But y'all have a coach for all this time. He been there. I don't think he can win one. I don't think San Francisco coach can win one. Right now, if you snatch him out and put another coach in right now, they will win a Super Bowl with that team.
It's especially if you put, because, like, my thing is, like, look at even just teams that haven't necessarily won, but teams that have shown some level of success. If you look at San Francisco, right? You got to get to the big game to win the big game. And at least San Francisco's been there. Now they can't finish the game, right? They literally can't. Like, Kyle Shanahan literally has shown time and time again he can't finish the game.
Buffalo went 4 straight times. Is that the coaching or the players?
That's coaching. Because how you go time and time again with the same coach, but
the talent is getting you there.
Yeah,
somebody making bad decisions.
Yeah, I think, because I think even when you look at like the Eagles won a Super Bowl with Doug Peterson, right? You got to know when it's time to let go. And they won a Super Bowl, and like 2 years later, they fired Doug Peterson, and they brought what's his name, Shane Steichen or whatever his name is, right? They brought him in. Where was they at last year? Now I know it's imploding now; it looks bad now, but where was they at last year? Right back in the Super Bowl, right? Right back with an opportunity to win a championship, and that's why coaching matters. Sean McVay, right? Sean McVay, one of those guys who, he was one of those young offensive minds that he knew he needed. He got some of the best out of Jared Goff, and he knew he needed a little bit more from his players to take that next step. He grabbed Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford has been good. He's been a stat patter. I tell you, that boy he puts up some numbers, but he's just never been able to win. You put that guy with that coach, and they can feed off of each other. And I just don't think that John Harbaugh does that enough, right? He doesn't come to Lamar Jackson and say, "Hey, I saw it," because think about it. John Harbaugh got experience, but John Harbaugh is also a special team savant, right? He's a special teams guy. So he's not going to see, and plus Todd Monken is in the booth, right? So Todd Monken can say it in the headset, but it's different. I understand, like, it's different being right there on the sideline with your quarterback and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm seeing right here," versus being up in the booth trying to tell your quarterback something.
For example,
you're missing the emotions.
All the successful coaches, all the successful quarterbacks right now, be having offensive coaches that's involved in the offense. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where the quarterbacks that struggle are coaches that are not paying no attention to that. That has nothing to do with the offense. They don't care about what you're doing. They're not involved until the end of it. most of these coaches that, like you said, Stafford and the head coach, he calling plays. Him and these two in the quarterback is in tune like brothers and you know what I'm saying, growing up together.
Mm-hmm.
You have like my coach of the Chicago Bears, a defensive coach. He's not in tune. He's more in tune with defensive players, linebackers. You know what I'm saying? Than the quarterback.
Yep.
To me, I think the coach and the quarterback have to be tied to the hip, no matter what that coach come from. If they not tied to the hip, you're not going to win.
Yeah, and you gotta be able to see it from the field level. You know, like Andy Reid, for example, he gonna know that dude. That dude will know offense if he turned around and didn't look at the game the whole time, right? He gonna know what's going on, regardless, right? You can put a blindfold on the man, he gonna know what's going on because he knows offense to a T, right? John Harbaugh doesn't, right? Now, John Harbaugh might can inspire you, he might can get you hype, but like for example, like we talking about young talent, right? Young receivers who fumble at the goal line, right? We talking about young quarterbacks who just got their first contract and hear everything that the naysayers say. It's up to the coach, especially if you are a leader of men, as you're supposed to be too. It's up to the coach to say, relax, go back to what we know, right? Go, because you can't sit here and tell me that Ravens fans can, because it's funny. My fiance laughs at me all the time about this, right? Because, you know, as fans, we feel like we see everything. We feel like we know everything because we're watching the games, right? We know a lot. We don't know everything. It's not day to day for us. But, you know, my fiance, she laughs at me all the time because she's like, well, if you know it, you might need to go into another profession. I'm like, it's obvious that we need to run the ball. It's obvious that something is missing right here, and I can pinpoint it. You telling me the dudes coming into the office day in and day out with the NFL logo on it, with the Ravens logo on it, can't see this? That's crazy to me. That's wild.
It's definitely crazy, for sure. For fucking sure. But I like it though. I like the fact that that we just pointed out the fact that some of this joint is not really the players. Like you can have all the talent you want, but when it comes down to crunch time, the coach have to make these right decisions. If they flustered and not ready for the moment, they can make it bad for the whole 53.
You know, I can't remember who said it. But and I wish I could because I would get in credit for it. But somebody said, and it was recent, somebody said football is easy, people make it hard. Right? You know, like the concept of it is easy. But I mean, that's part of being a coach, right? You got people with emotions, right? Who hear everything everybody says, who got ridiculous pressures on them like we never seen because of social media and all that, and the pressures of being the GOAT and being this and being that and being labeled something that they're not yet, and seeing this guy be successful and hearing about it every day, right? You know, football is easy, but people make it hard. And that's when it's up to the coach to say, hey, I need you to relax. I need you to lock in.
I have that coach.
We got this. And I don't think Harbaugh is it right now. You know, I think about 2 years ago, I was still saying Harbaugh, you know, he's good. We're fine. You know, my biggest question now is, you know, and I don't know, you might have a similar question, you know, come a couple years from now, whatever, but Harbaugh is here to stay, right? So what you gonna do now? Because a lot of people want Harbaugh to go, right? And I get that. I can understand it. I get the frustration. I'm right there with you. But Harbaugh is here to stay, right? Until he retires, literally like until he probably wins the Super Bowl and rides off into the sunset, that's the best way you're going to be able to get him out of Baltimore. So how did the Ravens win a Super Bowl?
I was about to say, so in your mind, as a Ravens fan, in your mind, you convinced that the coach you have is a good coach, but he can't win the Super Bowl.
My thing is, I'm not in the camp that say he can't win it. I think he can coach himself out of one, right? But I'm not in the camp that say he can't win it because I don't know if
in San Francisco coach yourself out of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know if I can watch football until John Harbaugh retires with the mindset of he can't win a Super Bowl. I just can't do it, right? It's, I can't do it. I got too much faith in the team, right? I got too much faith in him having one more good darn playoff run or something. That's the tough part for me. But it's like, I don't think he can't win it, because I think this team has shown time and time again, they've shown that they're so talented. They can beat any team you put in front of them, as long as they get out of their own way, right? The Raven, like, how many times have you watched the Ravens and seen them just get demolished, right? How many times have you watched the Ravens and seen them just be outclassed by the other team? It's rare. But how many times have you seen the Ravens come out and beat themselves, right? Whether it be with penalties, whether it be with turnovers, whether it be with lack of execution, whether it just be sluggish, right? Whether it just be slow. They start slow. They finally get it, but the time then ran out by the time they get it. Every single time. And that goes back to coaching too, because how are you never prepared for the game that you're playing in?
Coaching for sure. But question before we leave, 2 questions, matter of fact. Combine coming up now. What do you expect? Is it a player you want to see on your team, or is it a position that you want on the Ravens? What are you looking for?
I think for me, combine wise, right? Free agency, I'd probably say receivers and whatnot, right? But in terms of the draft, I'm looking O-lineman would be nice. It depends on what they're doing with Trenton Simpson, because I don't know how they'll be able to keep Patrick Queen and all the other guys they want to keep, right? But I would be happy with an elite rusher, right? When it comes down to the combine, like when it comes down to the draft, I would love an elite rusher, because the Ravens haven't had an elite rusher in a very, 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 very long time, right? But I think at the same time, I think O-line would be good too, right? I think, because you look at right tackle is kind of suspect with Ronnie Stanley and Morgan Moses. So it's tough. I think there's glaring needs though. Keon Coleman, yeah. I mean, I would be down with that.
I'm not gonna lie, but
I would be down with that, Hendo. Appreciate you for coming by.
Because what's y'all draft picks?
We draft that 30. I know in the first round.
Now Keon White will be there at 30 for sure.
You said he will be there at 30?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would be fine with. I would be fine with a receiver. It just makes me wonder, would the Ravens try to grab a receiver in free agency? Now, I think me and Hendo are kind of in the same
agent. Wide receiver. I want Mooney.
I don't think I want Mooney. I would take Hollywood back, right? I'd take Hollywood back. Bring Hollywood Brown back to Baltimore. I'd be cool with that. But I mean,
stop hating my man Mooney.
He said, "Hey, that's my answer right there." I agree.
I think about being free agent. I'm not sure,
but for me, like, I think wide receiver is important, right? I think wide receiver is important. I think the line is definitely important. Just because of the whole Ronnie Stanley aspect of it, and when is it the right time to move on from somebody? And the Ravens struggle with that. The Ravens struggle with that. They struggle with letting go, and I think now might be the time. But Keon Coleman, I think that could be a good one too.
So, me personally, I think the Chicago Bears should, y'all already know, keep Justin Fields. That's first problem. But that 9th pick, right? I think we should pick motherfucking Turner, Dallas Turner out of motherfucking Alabama, right? So to me, I want out of this combine, out of this draft, is a receiver and a defensive end in the first, where you get the high quality motherfucking players. I want a receiver and defensive end out of the top 10. If I come back out of this season and I don't have Justin Fields and you got a lot of other things going on, I'm gonna have a problem. You know what I'm saying, dog? Because now we're not looking forward to the playoffs. Now we're looking for some experimental shit, and I ain't got time for that, bro. You know what I'm saying, dog? So
Yeah.
Defensive end and wide receiver for me. One more question though.
Okay.
Do Justin Fields get traded or do he stay with the Chicago Bears?
I think too, before I answer that question, I think too, um, it also depends on like Bateman, his maturation this off season, and if he can find some chemistry with Lamar. Because I think if he can find some chemistry with Lamar, with Zay Flowers, with a potential one more guy that you pick up, whoever that may be, whether it be Hollywood, whether it be Keon Coleman or something like that, like I think that'll be big too. I think I kind of agree with Hendo. Like for me, I think the Bears are swerving everybody. I think they're letting everybody talk. Bless you. I think they're letting everybody talk, right? I think they're letting all the noise just kind of filter around, and I think they're gonna end up getting another haul for the number 1 overall pick again, right? I think they're going because I say keep Justin Fields, right? What will they do? I think they also keep Justin Fields because I think they see that there's talent there, right? You keep Justin Fields, the guy you've seen can make some plays. You've seen can make some moves. You've seen probably with some decent talent can be really good. And you consider the division that they're in, that goes hand in hand with that. And it's the NFC. That goes hand in hand with that too. So I think you keep Justin Fields, you grab your receiver, right, to pair with DJ Moore. You hope that it's Marvin Harrison Jr., but we'll see, right? If he's still there by the time you make your pick. Please. And you go from there. Because I think if you keep Fields, it's not a rebuild because he's got experience in the league. You can build up.
Thank you. Continuing going. Yeah, we just continue going down the road of rebuilding.
And if you draft Caleb Williams, there has to be at least one rebuild year, right? Even Houston, right? Let's look at Houston, right? Let's look at Houston last year. Great season, got a playoff win, looked really good. The issue, it still was a rebuild year, though. There was not a lot of expectations. Nobody was expecting them to win a Super Bowl. They just exceeded expectations. And that's fine. That can happen. But they could also, CJ Stroud could have a sophomore slump because it's the NFL. And this is how this works, right? You know what I mean? Like he could have a sophomore slump, or he could just struggle, or it could just not be as good as it was last year. Because things happen. It's the NFL. People figure things out, and people throw different coverages at you. Exactly. So, it's one of those things where it's like, I think you got to, as for the Bears, I think you keep going. So he said, keep Fields, trade down to 2 or 3, get Marvin Harrison Jr. And thank goodness that Mooney's not your number 2. I think, I think that's what I would do, right? If I was the GM, I keep Fields, trade back a couple picks, get me some more picks, or maybe even a player if it's there for me, right, that I really need, and then go from there. Like, and there's still some good free agents out there for y'all too in terms of offensive line. So there's gonna be I think for the Bears there's gonna be something there, right? There's gonna be something there, like in terms of making some moves at the combine, at the draft.
Exactly. To me, I just think, first of all, we have a GM that is the first black GM in Chicago Bear history. We had the first black CEO in Chicago Bear history. First black drafted quarterback in Chicago Bear history. We got a lot of things going on here, bro, that the white media in Chicago overlooks. That this is a lot going on here in the culture here. That I just, from that standpoint, I cannot see that GM taking this black kid through what he just took him through for 2 years, and the man still standing in front of him, and he get rid of it. That's gonna be hard for me to stomach. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I said, I was in, I would say, a similar situation last off season, right? Exactly. I'm sitting here saying, this man is, and I mean, I hate to say it like this, but Lamar Jackson had already had some accolades and playoff wins and all that, and won divisions. So like, it was one of those situations where I'm like, duh, right? And I think you probably feel similarly, maybe not with necessarily all the accolades, but you still feel like there's something here, right? Yeah. Build on that.
Exactly. What are we doing? Why we throwing this thing out? Start over again? I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Then I don't want to go into the Daltons and the Andy Fultons and all this shit. I can't do it no more, bro. Let's let this motherfucker keep growing. We good with him. Fuck it. He better than them now. So shit. What are we worried about? Why are we trying to be better? You know what I'm saying? But there was, what you got something else to say before we dip about it?
No, I appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun, man. It's always a lot of fun. We definitely gonna get back together in a couple weeks, a month or so, whatever it is. For my people over there on the Fly Nation Speaks channel, I ain't gonna leave y'all no more for the off season. Okay, I just need a second. I just need a second. I'm good now. I promise. Just need a little season break or something. Is that what they call it? But I had to have a little off season to myself. But for me, it's just it's the off season. I'm still learning the off season. I'm still learning the draft process and all that, man. So it's always fun because you just never know what's gonna happen. And especially the way the NFL's been lately, and you can even say the NBA too, like it's just been like players everywhere. Like, you thought they was gonna be lifers at this team and then they not. So, it's gonna be very interesting, man. And the off season is always crazy. And considering I live in considering I'm in Charlotte, like it's gonna be crazy around here too. So
how everybody respond to the raising of the ticket prices out there?
Oh, they sick. They sick, man.
Y'all was wanting something out there.
You know what's crazy about it? They sick about the ticket prices. Look. You know what's funny about that though? So the Panthers play in Germany this season, right? And I don't know if it's just how it's built into the clause, or like I don't know if every organization is like this, but it looks real bad for the Panthers considering that the league's worse right now. And the people who got season tickets have to pay for the Germany game, but they don't necessarily get a seat at the Germany game. They have to rebuy the ticket if they decide to go to Germany to watch the Panthers play. So it's just it's very interesting, man. Like people were upset. People were sick.
That black ass owner was the one that threw some water on somebody, right? Or some shit.
Oh yeah, he was mad. Yeah. He threw something. I don't know if it was water.
To me, do he really want to win? Like you hire coaches, you say, nah, I want this quarterback, you deal with that. Then you throw water on motherfuckers. Then you just should he be an owner, bruh? Like how's this dynamic working down there? Like
it's
hard. Trying to get rid of Snyder. That happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah.
It's hard because it's really hard to get rid of an owner, I think. Right, because they literally are the guy in terms of the team, unless they just do something real stupid, right? Like Snyder did something real stupid, so it's easy to get rid of him. You got cause to get rid of your owner, but for him, it's just stupid decisions over and over and over again. And it's like, I talked about it before, like it's this never-ending hamster wheel where it's like, when is we getting off? Like, like. It's like running on the treadmill is real good for you. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. The treadmill is good, but like imagine running on the treadmill and thinking you running through the mountains. You not right. You still in the same spot you was before. That's how it feels, right? You building up your endurance. You feel good. You feel good afterwards, but then you realize, dang, I ain't even get to see the mountain.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. So I mean, it's one of those things. Like people are sick. People are upset because how do you get off of this crazy ride that we own? How? Who knows, man?
Appreciate everybody, man, that be tuning in to us, man. The Ravens, he's a Ravens diehard. I'm a Bears diehard. We got something in common here. Two dual threat quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying, dog? I'm hoping I keep mine. But far as the motherfucker media out there, bro, they just not used to this quarterback, and they don't care about sliding back into the white world of quarterbacks of Daltons and all them. I care about that stuff, man. I don't want to see no more Daltons and all that. I'm good here, you know what I'm saying, dog. But I do appreciate everybody that tuned in for us, man, on this podcast for sure. You got something to say for get out here though?
Nah, I just for my people watching over on my end, go hit up the Third Perspective podcast on all major podcasting platforms, just like Fly Nation Speaks. You can hit, I always like to say, you can like go back to back with the queue, you know what I mean? And like, get you a nice little order going and get you through the day real quick. All right, get you through the day real quick, 8-hour day, gone like that. All right, so I mean,
Most definitely.
I appreciate y'all. If you haven't subscribed already over here, be sure to. We're gonna definitely be back with this show again, because you know it's always a lot of fun, man. It's always a lot of fun.
Collab on. Hopefully, I got my quarterback so we can talk dual threat. You know what I'm saying? But like I told y'all, me personally, I think Justin Fields will still be Chicago Bears, and they're gonna have a load of things around him. Something he deserves, to be honest with you. But catch us on our next joint. You know what I'm saying?
All right, welcome into
the Bears Ravens podcast. You know,
Flock Nation Speaks,
T3P podcast. All the Bears fans know me.
your Baltimore Ravens
The Bears
podcast, where we talk about the best team